Former assistant U.S. attorney and Fox News contributor. Andy, look, I'm reading something that Jake Gibson, our producer in D.C., has sent out, and I want to know the importance of it, how much of it is new. The DOJ drops Hunter plea deal case in Delaware.
Well, I hadn't heard that yet, but the only thing that's been charged in Delaware are 2 misdemeanor tax counts.
Okay.
They haven't indicted the Hunter Biden case,
right,
which is
so
why the statute of limitations...
It can happen. All right, so let me finish the sentence here, and then you go with it. This filing shows that the DOJ has moved to dismiss the Hunter plea deal case in Delaware. Andy.
They're dismissing nothing. It's 2 misdemeanor tax pleas. They've never indicted the case. Under Weiss, the statute of limitations continues to run. That's the reason the 2014, 2015 corruption evidence is no longer in the case. And I would point out that the defense lawyers were willing to waive the statute of limitations in the interest of getting a global plea that would give Hunter a complete immunity bath. But it was Weiss who decided to let the statute of limitations run on behavior like the Burisma bribery evidence and the Hunter being on the board and the other behavior that we've seen out of 2014, 2015. What struck me yesterday, reading the new report from the House Oversight Committee, is that all of this spectacular $21 million evidence that they've laid out, the vast majority of it that I saw in yesterday's report is from 2014, 2015. The statute of limitations for tax offenses in the United States that are relevant here is 6 years. The statute of limitations for everything else is 5 years. Every day Weiss doesn't go in to indict the case is disappearing. And the other thing people ought to understand is that what makes a special counsel special is that it's an attorney who's brought in from outside the government. There's a statute, the section 603, that goes to the qualifications of the special counsel. It says the special counsel shall be selected from outside the United States government. Not just outside the Justice Department, it's supposed to be completely outside the government. And that's because there's a conflict of interest that prevents the Biden Justice Department from investigating the president's son for conduct that implicates the president. This guy's just the vehicle for them to flush the case.
Is there a conflict of interest to have this guy, as we're calling David Weiss now, remain the U.S. attorney in the District of Delaware? Joe Biden's home state, where he spent north of 40% of his time during his presidency. Is that a conflict of interest? And then also to have this complete authority over an investigation into his son?
Yeah, of course it's a conflict of interest because he's still he's a top official in the Biden Justice Department. He's the presidentially appointed United States attorney for the District of Delaware. And under the special counsel regulations, he's not qualified. He's not eligible to be a special counsel. This whole thing is a sham.
My goodness. Andy McCarthy, thank you for joining us as this news. And I wasn't sure even if it was, but what you're saying is it gives them a headline that says something was dismissed against Hunter Biden, and you say it's like a smokescreen because it's running out anyway. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. With just a few seconds, David, what's on your mind?
The 3 words that I wrote and showed you. Statute of limitations. Everyone should go back and watch what Andy McCarthy just said. If you want this to go away, you let it run out. The clock's running. And his point about the law and how you appoint a special counsel is important. They're actually violating that. You go to 28,600, it's simply not what should be done. This is a way to protect the president.
I would argue that, as you noted at the beginning of the show, that it really isn't Hunter. Fine. If can't get him on his charges, what is not over is what Joe Biden did in the process of what Hunter was doing. So that's the key, I think, here, is having him not be having to fear, that it puts him at risk. But the fact is the investigation into because now they have to admit, all right, it's about Joe Biden.
But can the House get those documents now? That's what I want to know. Remember, it was touted that these shell companies would take 10 years to disentangle. Well, Comer's been getting the bank records. Now there's additional roadblocks. There's a special counsel. There's an ongoing investigation. Does this stymie that?
And to provide specificity for viewers, because I want them to understand this, the title of the motion by Weiss was the United States motion to voluntarily dismiss criminal tax information without prejudice so that tax charges can be brought in a district where venue lies. So contrary to those overgeneral and likely liberal headlines about it's dismissing charges, it is not. It's dismissing the information so charges can be brought.
Do you think they will be?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll cover every second of it.